I promise that this video will astound you. Coinbase, the biggest cryptocurrency exchange in the world, has already begun to drive up the price of XRP Ripple. These are the facts, even though it sounds ridiculous. This news has experts in a frenzy. They are confident that XRP Ripple coin's price will soar to $2,953. This is too important to ignore. Let's do it one step at a time. Disclaimer. XRP recently grabbed news once more, and the figures are astounding this time. The cryptocurrency world has been rocked by Coinbase's roughly 29,000% increase in trade volume. The CEO of Alpha Lions Academy, Edward Farina, initially reported the rise when he shared CoinGlass data that showed a 12,495% 24-hour volume increase. This was swiftly corrected to over 29,140%, meaning that over $246 million in XRP spot trades had occurred. This was more than a Coinbase occurrence. According to the heat map, XRP trade volume was soaring everywhere, briefly surpassing platforms like OKX, Bybit, and Kraken, and following only Binance. This volume explosion did not happen by accident. It coincided with breaking news that a spot XRP ETF would be introduced, which is now one of the most anticipated developments in the institutional cryptocurrency space. Investments with a purpose. Canada's first XRP spot ETF will be introduced on the Toronto Stock Exchange by the company that launched the first spot Bitcoin ETF globally in 2021. This isn't your typical trading item. It's a significant indication that organizations are at last granting XRP the regulatory recognition it has long sought. With the approval of the Ontario Securities Commission, the asset is now being identified and presented in a manner that is convenient for conventional investors. What makes an ETF so important then? Simply expressed, consider an ETF to be a financial asset vending machine. Investors purchase shares of the candy holding machine rather than a candy bar directly. Each share in a spot ETF is backed by actual XRP rather than only futures contracts or paper commitments. This implies that in order to support that position, the provider, in this case Purpose, must go out and acquire XRP on the open market each time someone purchases an ETF share. Millions of dollars in inflows from brokers, institutions, and pensions are multiplied by such conduct. And the outcome is straightforward: genuine demand that raises the cost. The United States can also be not far behind. The SEC is expected to make a decision regarding Franklin Templeton's proposal for a US-based spot XRP ETF today, according to the Times tabloid. Given the SEC's long-standing contentious conflict with Ripple and its historically strict position on cryptocurrencies, a green light here might be a turning point for the entire sector, not just for XRP. It would legitimize XRP in the eyes of mainstream finance, allow for widespread adoption, and make it accessible through trading apps and retirement plans. Coinbase, however, is starting to show promise as a quiet force behind this surge. One of the world's most aggressive surges in XRP trade volume was observed on the platform. Considering its cautious stance following previous regulatory difficulties, this is a stunning accomplishment. However, this is where the situation becomes even more fascinating. There are rumors that Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, is in possession of millions of XRP currencies. The community is going crazy over the unsubstantiated rumor that a prominent leader of a US cryptocurrency exchange may have a personal stake in XRP. Coinbase might further improve XRP's reputation and usefulness in the US financial system if it becomes a major liquidity source or custodian for any eventual US-based XRP ETF, which is a very likely scenario. After years of legal troubles, XRP was long viewed as an underdog, but it is finally receiving institutional support, regulatory clarity, and significant interest from investors and large platforms. Coinbase's 29,000% spike isn't just a haphazard matrix error. It's an indication that something significant is about to happen. Simply stated by Edward Farina, it is becoming hard to overlook XRP. We might be witnessing the start of a new stage for XRP if the ETF doors open in both Canada and the US. One that is motivated by actual utility, actual money, and actual belief rather than by hype. The experts are humming, of course. They're not merely observing behind the scenes. They're getting ready. Because the next phase in XRP's history may be the most explosive. Some are referring to it as the start of a financial revolution that has never been witnessed before. And believe me, they're not simply making audacious predictions. They are just astounding. This is something you will want to hear. XRP isn't just getting hotter then. The water is beginning to boil. The charts are dazzling. It's blowing up in volume. Even long-standing skeptics are suddenly reconsidering. And while some may write off rumors of a $10,000 XRP surge as fantasy, others are beginning to figure it out. The managing director of Digital Ascension Group, Jake Claver, recently made a daring prediction that rekindled interest in XRP. The price of XRP may reach $10,000, and not in the far future. Claver outlined a 2-year timeline in a video posted on X. However, this isn't just hype. Claver bases his argument on practical applications and the requirements of financial institutions in the future. He notes that XRP's price must increase if it is to become a significant backbone for international payments. Not for conjecture, but for the network's architecture to work well. It's a straightforward equation with significant ramifications. David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, has previously described how the efficiency of the XRP ledger actually rises in tandem with the price of XRP. For example, you would need 1 million tokens to transfer $1 million using XRP at a price of $1 per token. But you only need $100,000 if XRP is worth $10. A greater token price increases scalability and decreases the requirement for liquidity. Furthermore, that is more than simply a theoretical model. Institutions need this type of structure for trillion-dollar cross-border transactions. In the meantime, speculation is rampant in the XRP community, with some of it being very explosive. Aminix posted only, "There will be a huge XRP wave soon. If you blink, you'll miss it." Every XRP rally begins here, Steph added. Now don't be duped. These tweets are more than simply buzz. They are indicators of a change in sentiment that is affecting the entire market. Now, even more outrageous claims are making the rounds, such as one from XRP Avengers that XRP will soon be valued at $2,953 and be backed by gold. That may seem unrealistic, until you discover that central banks all across the world are already taking steps to use gold to support digital currencies. Digital G went one step further and connected the explosive growth of digital assets to the notion of a $10,000 gold valuation. He believes that digital tokens like XRP could reach previously unthinkable heights after fiat collapses and countries tie their CBDCs to tangible assets like gold. He displays an astounding figure: $15,000 for each XRP. The unthinkable could not be so far off in an environment characterized by tokenized economies, real-world value, and scarcity. However, the fact that it's not just the community speaking for the first time in years is what's really causing this belief spike. It's also the analysts, fund managers, IT officers, and suits who used to dismiss XRP as simply another cryptocurrency. They have stopped laughing. They are strategic. A possible price utility model, the introduction of spot XRP ETFs, and the legal clarification that Ripple has at last obtained from the SEC. These factors are coming together to create a picture that appears more inevitable than possible. A coin of paradoxes.